So after 9 long years, Cyberpunk 2077 finally released. And despite having some bugs, okay, it has a lot of bugs, it also has a boatload of Easter eggs too. In today's video, I want to take a look at 30 Easter eggs, secrets, or references found in Cyberpunk 2077. Now, before we go any further, this video will contain several spoilers for Cyberpunk's main questline and some of the side quests. So if you'd rather avoid any such spoilers, then stop watching now. Also, if you think you know of an Easter egg in Cyberpunk that wasn't in this video, then the best place to let me know is in the comments section or on my social media accounts, the links to which are in the description. Oh, and if you do go on to enjoy this video and are a fan of Easter eggs, secrets, and tiny details in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. So to start things off, let's take a look at some of the references to the Witcher series. Given the huge popularity of The Witcher, it was inevitable that it would be referenced a ton in Cyberpunk 2077. The first of these references can be found at the very beginning of the Corpo story. During your first few moments, you're given the optional objective to read the report on your personal terminal. Well, if you open the drawer at your terminal, you can spot a magazine with the face of Ciri from the Witcher series on it. The next Witcher reference can be found all over the game and references everyone's favourite trusty steed.
Right.
So this arcade game, called Roach Race, stars Geralt's horse Roach. Also, one of the enemies seen in Roach Race is a griffin, the first serious monster you fight in The Witcher 3. The Roach love doesn't end there. On the back of V's car, you can spot this. Yep, it's another nod to our boy Roach, this time in the form of a sticker. I'm sure there are loads of other smaller nods to the Witcher series found in Night City, so if you think I've missed one, then let me know. Now of course, The Witcher isn't the only form of popular media referenced in Cyberpunk, far from it in fact. Night City is packed with references to popular films, games, TV shows and books. Take this find for example, which references one of my favourite action movies of all time. So these free shells are apparently the way we'll be wiping our bums in the future. Well, that's according to the Sylvester Stallone classic movie Demolition Man.
I'm happy that you're happy, but the place where you're supposed to have the toilet paper, you got this little shelf with 3 seashells on it.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Of course, this isn't the first time we've seen the 3 shells in video games this year. They can also be found in the Eggcellent shark RPG, Maneater. Another Easter egg that is popular with developers can be found at this location on the map. So this pizza found on a roof is a reference to this scene from the excellent Breaking Bad. As mentioned, this reference is extremely popular with developers, having featured in Dead Rising 3 and the brilliant Sunset Overdrive, to name just a few. Oh, and one more popular Easter egg can be found at this location. So, a dead man, a fridge, and a hat. If you read the text log, it seems that this person was working on a Mythbusters-like TV show, where someone had asked if it really is possible to survive an explosion by hiding in a fridge. This is of course a reference to this scene from Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where Indy survives a nuclear blast by hiding inside of a lead-lined fridge. The next movie to get the Cyberpunk reference treatment is a classic. At this location on the map, you can find this. So the text log found at the scene talks of a boy called Jimmy O'Connor, who is speeding away on a motorcycle. Apparently his mum wants to keep him alive, which is to be expected. The log also speaks of what appears to be a police officer driving a truck. So this scene, combined with the text log, is a reference to the iconic motorcycle chase scene from Terminator 2, where a young John Connor tried to escape a T-1000 Terminator with the help of Arnold Schwarzenegger and his motorbike. Now, if you're finding travelling the world of Night City to be a bit of a chore, this next Easter egg is for you. If you head to this location between 11 PM and 12 AM, you can find this. So inside this secret cave, you can find a text log left by someone whose parents were murdered, proceeded to cloak themselves in the darkness, and then name themselves Mercman. So this is of course a reference to Batman and his Batcave. But what's a Batcave without a Batmobile? So as I said, this vehicle only spawns between 11 PM and 12 AM, but as soon as you enter the car, it's yours. Now not only does this car look the part, it's also incredibly fast. So before Cyberpunk 2077's release, if you asked someone to describe what a cyberpunk setting looked like, many would have pointed you in the direction of the 1982 movie Blade Runner. Directed by Ridley Scott, Blade Runner showcased a dystopian future where things may be high-tech, but the quality of life is definitely not. As you may expect, Cyberpunk contains several references to Blade Runner, the first of which isn't very well hidden. In Pacifica, you can find a hotel called Batty's Hotel. This is a reference to Roy Batty, a main character in Blade Runner. Also, the font chosen for the hotel's logo is very similar to the font used for the Blade Runner logo. The next Blade Runner reference can be found on top of a roof at this location on the map. So this is another reference to Roy Batty. In Blade Runner's climax, Batty sat on top of a rain-soaked roof cradling a bird. If you turn around, you can also see a neon sign that says "Like Tears," a reference to Batty's final monologue in the movie.
Like tears in rain.
The final Blade Runner reference, well for today's video at least, can be found at this location in Westbrook. So we once again see a nod to Roy Batty, but the name next to his, Sid Mead, is also a reference to Blade Runner. Sid Mead was a designer who worked on several sci-fi classics such as Tron, Aliens, and of course Blade Runner. Now, given that Keanu Reeves features so heavily in Cyberpunk, it's no surprise to find some references to some of his past movies. One of Reeves' biggest roles, and arguably his most iconic, is that of Neo in The Matrix. So of course, during the main questline, you are asked to choose between the blue pill or the red pill, which is of course a reference to this scene from The Matrix, where Morpheus gives Neo the same choice. More recently, Reeves has become known for his portrayal of badass hitman John Wick. During the first John Wick movie, Wick comes out of retirement after his home is broken into, his dog is killed, and his car is stolen. Well, during the Olive Branch mission, you can find a man named Sergey who has this to say.
How'd you piss off the Tiger Claws?
It was just a friendly misunderstanding.
Sure.
This man, he look normal, beard, brown shoes, nothing, breathtaking. And they also have little dog, Gospody. What kind of hitman goes around with dog?
This misunderstanding involve you shooting him?
It was worse, much worse. I say too much already.
So Sergey basically summed up the beginning of John Wick. He even had time to make a reference to Keanu Reeves' appearance at E3 2019. So that should about do it for the movie references in Cyberpunk 2077. Let's move on to some video game references now. The first of which references a game that, if it was ever released, cannot possibly live up to expectations. Early on in the game, you have to escape from All Foods, where you can find this text log. The log speaks of a game called No Life 3, which stars a strong silent type protagonist who is a scientist. It also speaks of a sidekick called Alice and the use of a trusty crowbar. These are of course all references to the Half-Life series and the yet to be released Half-Life 3. If you translate the last name of Baron Freimensch, I hope that pronunciation's correct, from German into English, it reads Freeman, as in Gordon Freeman, the main character of the Half-Life series. Of course, Gordon wouldn't go anywhere without his trusty crowbar and his ally Alex Vance. The next video game referenced in Cyberpunk is also developed by Valve. One of the Delamain cars you are asked to track down is this.
Well, you found me. Congratulations. Was it worth it?
On a scale from 1 to 6? I'd say I'm sitting at a strong 6.
I guess we both know what's going to happen next.
Delamain misses you. I'm here to shut you down.
Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper.
Really appreciate it if you didn't make this difficult.
I have a surprise waiting for you after this next test. Telling you would spoil the surprise, so I'll just give you a hint. I'm going to kill you, and all the cake is gone. I honestly, truly didn't think you'd fall for that.
Okay, that's enough.
So both the voice of the car and the promise to kill you while telling you the cake is a lie are references to GLaDOS, the murderous AI from the Portal series. So this next Easter egg is probably my favourite Easter egg in the entire game. If you head to this location on the map, you can find this. So along with 2 dead bodies and a beat up motorcycle, you can find a text log between JC and Little Smoke. In the log they discuss their plan to follow a train, only for things to not go as planned, leaving Little Smoke to say, all you had to do was follow the damn train, JC. This is of course a reference to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where Big Smoke and Carl Johnson, aka CJ, had a very similar conversation.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
Oh, and I also noticed that Little Smoke had a burger by his corpse, which is probably a reference to Big Smoke's love of food.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
So next up, not only is a video game referenced, but the guy who directed it actually appears in game. During the hunt mission, when exploring the lab, you can find this. So this is a BB from Death Stranding, a game directed by Jeff Keighley's favourite person, Hideo Kojima. Speaking of Kojima-san, he too can be found in Cyberpunk 2077. During the heist mission, if you head to the bar, you can find him kicking it with some friends.
今のままじゃブレインダンスはダメだと思うんだよな。単純な表現しかできてないから。笑いといえばコメディだし、恐怖はホラーだし、恋愛は
So I'm pretty certain that about does it for the video game references in Cyberpunk, but I also fully expect the comments section to be bombarded with things I missed. What can you do? Moving on to a TV show reference now. During the Big in Japan side mission, you are tasked with finding a fridge with no future written on it. When you find the fridge, a man will fall out. If you carry the man to Dennis, you will hear this.
So who is this guy?
He'll tell you his story. Hariyoshi?
In Japan, brain sergeant, top of all. Good instinct. One day, Tiger Claw boss needs surgery. But both die on table. Tiger Crows were very angry. I hide in boat, swim to America. Here didn't save me, but there is secret. I killed Tiger Crow boss on purpose. World best surgeon, make no mistake.
So that is a reference to this scene from the US office.
One day, Yakuza boss need new head. I do operation. But mistake! Yakuza boss die! My big secret. I kill Yakuza boss on purpose. I could search him. The best!
So in the run-up to Cyberpunk's release, CD Projekt Red worked with quite a few content creators from Twitch and YouTube to help promote the game. A couple of those creators can actually be found in Cyberpunk 2077. The first can be found pretty early on in the game when going to visit the Ripper Dog.
The masters of your memories, for your eyes do not belong to you, or rather, not only to you. Do you truly believe that those who have sold you your mechanical eyes have resisted the temptation to peek through them? Cameras are all around us, even within us. Your joys, your worries, your life, for them it is all mere spectacle!
Yeah, if anyone was watching and giving a damn, I'd have half the city's underworld and half its corpse on my ass already.
And if you are their pawn, unknowingly carrying out their secret agendas.
So this is the Twitch streamer Carnage. The next creator to make an appearance is this guy.
Hey! Hey you! I gotta get to a Ripper, man! I'll pay you!
Depends, what's wrong with you?
You serious? You want my patient history too?
I just want to be sure it's no cyberpsychosis or anything.
No, it's a... normal implant malfunction. Happy? You helping me or what? Satisfaction guaranteed, they said.
Let me guess, Mr. Stud XCV19 series.
So this is Jesse Cox, a US-based YouTuber with over 950,000 subscribers and apparently a very sore appendage. So whilst a GTA reference may be my favourite Easter egg in the game, this next find is a close second. At this location you can find a talking handgun called Skippy. Skippy is here to help, and that means that he'll sometimes hum a soothing melody to make a wait more pleasant.
Bum bum be dum bum bum.
What are you doing?
I'm making the wait more pleasant with a soothing melody. Bum bum be dum bum bum be dum bum.
So the tune that Skippy hums sounds an awful lot like Disturbia by Rihanna. But I could be wrong there. The gun itself is really fun to use, reminding me of the smart pistol from Titanfall, where you don't even need to aim at an enemy for the bullets to lock on. So this is going to sound a bit weird, considering I'm the one supposed to be showing you guys the Easter eggs. Some of the pictures on the perk screen appear to be references. For example, this perk on the crafting section is meant to be Doc Brown from Back to the Future. There are probably tons of references hidden in the perk pages, so have a look through and let me know what you find. Onto what is perhaps the strangest Easter egg / discovery I've made in Night City so far. At this location, you can find this. So underwater we can find a cat that for some reason is still alive and a man who is sadly not. Reading the text log found at the scene explains that the man won the cat and was taking it home to his girlfriend. The trouble is the man was drunk and presumably crashed his car, leaving the cat stranded. So a feature that was discussed heavily prior to Cyberpunk's launch was the photo mode, and it's here we can find a few more references to pop culture. First up is the pose like one of your French girls, which is a reference to the Titanic where Leo DiCaprio painted a naked Kate Winslet.
Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. Wearing this.
Next is another nod to the E3 2019 conference with the "You're breathtaking" pose.
You're breathtaking! You're all breathtaking!
Next up is the pose called Joker Stares, a reference to this iconic scene from Joker. And finally, the "I know Kung Fu" pose is a reference to this scene from The Matrix.
I know Kung Fu.
Now I know for a fact I've missed a ton here. Anime is a personal blind spot of mine, for example, so be sure to leave those that I have missed in the comments. So the final 2 Easter eggs in today's video are tributes to the guys and girls from CD Projekt Red that worked on Cyberpunk 2077. The first can be found at this location.
In this spot in 2023, an explosion from a terrorist attack on the first Eggcellent tower claimed the lives of 12,000.
So this wall of names are just some of the people who worked on the game. Next, if you head to this location and enter the same code that I do, you will gain access to this room.
Well, what do we have here? Fuck. I don't believe it.
So the pictures on screen are, you guessed it, CD Projekt Red employees. I'm not entirely sure how long this goes on for, so feel free to check it out and let me know. So that's it, that's 30 Easter egg secrets and references in Cyberpunk 2077. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter egg secrets and tiny details in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.